We'll tell you about it at 2:45. Right now, 800-636-1067. The foosball gentlemen play a preseason game, a Larry Michaels Super Bowl against the Detroit Lions tomorrow. Thanks for laughing at that, Tillms. It's the dress rehearsal. Looks like a lot of starters, maybe all of them, as many are healthy, are going to play. What do you want to see? You guys gave your list. I want you guys on the phones as well at 800-636-1067. You touched on this one, Darius. I haven't been to practice. Most people haven't.
Yeah.
I want to see Daniels. I want to see the mastery. I want to see this second nature, instinctive comfort at this point in an NFL game. One of the things that is so fun and awesome to watch is how cool a customer he is. You guys have seen the quarterback, even guys with some experience, with those uncertain happy feet, with the I'm going to get destroyed, I don't look right. Everybody's, whether it's Patrick Ramsey or Carson Wentz and everyone in between. I mean, yeah, there's some guys that were, a little too comfortable, be they Rex Grossman or Taylor Heineke or whatever. But there's just a grace and an ease that Daniels knows what he's doing. He knows what you're doing. He's going to laugh about it after the play, and he's going to be a killer during the play, and he's got it. You have an answer, he's got an even better answer. I want to see that, even if we're not running all the advanced stuff, even if we're not, countering the counter to the counter to the counter. Even if it's just firing off some basic things, he's under center. Most of us haven't gotten to look at it, right? The select few of folks that have been able to go to practice, folks in the media that have been out there have seen it. The regular rank and file, the peons like myself, I've not seen him under center, other than a handful of plays here and there for throughout the last couple of years. I'm interested in that. I'd like to see what it looks like. I want to see him just doing Daniels things, just so I can bathe in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, just sort of feel comfortable about that. That's number one. Number two, this is probably my biggest one. The reports about this offensive line, the narrative about the offensive line. Everybody that's got a ranking has a big number next to that name. Not a high ranking, but a big number. A 29, a 30, a 32, a 31, a 27. It ain't good right now. The vibe isn't good. Week 1 against the lowly Miami Dolphins, you didn't see a lot that inspired confidence. Mariota gets injured. You don't really have a great push up front. I want to see the first group, whoever's there, against Detroit's ones, ever trying to put food on the table. I want to see a push. I want to see a push in the run game most specifically. That's what I'm looking for, because the interior running, even in that joint practice against Miami, it was, they couldn't do that, but everything else was fun. You're going to have to do that at some point. To set up some of the things they want to set up, I want to see an interior run push. I want to know, is Chris Paul winning? Is Julian Goodgrief winning? Is Sam Cosmi winning? I like Sam Cosmi. I think he will. But you know what I mean? How's Connerly doing? I want to see the push up front. Those are the first two things. Thing number 3 is, again, this isn't going to be the full Durante Jones. He's not going full Durante, okay? And he shouldn't. I don't want anybody to know. I want week to week people to be like, what the hell are they going to do? That's what I want. But what you do get in the preseason, to some degree, is your guy versus my guy. Because everybody's kind of curious and wants to see that to a degree, right? You're not going to expose Jared Goff to 1 million hits, or same thing you wouldn't think with Jayden Daniels. But there's going to be a chance for this revamped and new pass rush, which was anemic at times last year. You're going to get, presumably, K'Lavon Chaisson or Nadafe Owe or Charles Amenahu or, a blitz, maybe not your blitzing Styles and Chanel, but you know what I mean? You're going to see some of these guys that are going to rush the passer for you get a chance to be one-on-one. And I don't expect you to show the entire toolkit, but I want to see some of that explosion. I want to see some of that get off. I want to see some of that. You could see during a game how this early, Ryan Kerrigan, think of that stiff arm into the throat of a right tackle, is going to lead to either a power move and a rip or a counter or that Dwight Freeney spin or something. I'll be spotlighting that when they're on defense.
Yeah, so just off a couple of those. So I'm really interested in the run game. You mentioned that one with the interior O-line. I'm actually pretty confident in Brandon Coleman. He's not Laramie Tunsil, but
that's a good player.
Going from a top 5 player to a league average player, it's a massive dip. But I think you can make the argument going across their offensive line that you could get below league average play at potentially 3 of the positions. And so if that's the case, and I'm getting league average at left tackle, I'm not as worried about there. It does change things, but we can get into that another time. For left guard, obviously Chris Paul stepping in there. It sounded like Brandon Coleman might have won that job, which I still don't fully understand their approach last season, where they just moved off of Brandon Coleman so quick. I understand the injuries. I understand there was some growing pains and all that stuff, but I think Brandon Coleman can play. I think you'll see that again at left tackle, but that leaves Chris Paul at left guard again. You've got center problems. Even if Nick Allegretti is the starter there, I still don't feel great about that position. I think you can just read all of the rankings across national publications. Even if they assume Nick Allegretti, they're not even talking about Julian Good-Jones. They don't care that Nick Allegretti's the starting center. They still don't like it. Cosme, I think, is going to be good, but then Connerly's a question. But they have not been that impressive running the football, and I think that is a major part of their offense. So if you're going to struggle running the football, we're right back to where we were last year, where it's like, oh, Jayden has to play Superman again. Now it's going to be a different look of Superman, but if they can't run the football, that changes the play action game. That changes everything they're trying to accomplish by being under center. So that is going to be a major part of the offense. And if they can't get push in a preseason game where you're not playing 70 plays, you're playing 12, maybe less, then that's concerning. And so I'd like to see some holes opened up, regardless of who's running behind them, if it's Bill, if it's somebody else, if he's a little dinged up from practice yesterday, whatever. I don't really care who the running back is. Just when I watch it, although there's a hole there, at least whoever's going to run the football, I can trust is going to be able to have some space to run. So, no, that's a really good point and something to watch against the Lions tomorrow.
800-636-1067. Let's start. Carlos, Severna Park. What do you want to see tomorrow in the game?
I just want to see a team that has a sense of urgency compared to what we saw last season. If you remember last season, they were resting starters. They were having a good training camp, but it didn't show on the field. I want to see that they've been raving it. They've been raving about it at this training camp. The players have been on fire. The players have been showing the sense of urgency. Because guess what? They're going up against two divisional opponents, week 1 and week 2. I dare them to start 0-2 these first 2 weeks because last season was not good enough for training camp. Go ahead, play these preseason games. Give it all you got. That's what I want to see. Thanks for taking my call, guys.
Appreciate you, buddy. That's my word. The U word, urgency.
Yeah.
I just want it. I haven't felt it. Now, again, you could speak better to it, you and Grant and a million of the other guys that have been out there every day, and I'm kind of going off of secondhand type things. Some people have graded it, oh, yeah, it's light and day from last year. Others have said, yeah, it's more, but it's still not a lot, if that makes any sense. That urgency, I need to feel it. I want to feel it. It's hard to explain, but you know it when you see it.
Well, and I think that's why this is a perfect opponent. You never have to question urgency under Dan Campbell. They want to hit you coming off the bus. Like, they're ready to roll. So if you don't bring that same sort of urgency, then that's going to be a problem, and you might have more dudes on the injured list, right? Like, you have to play football at full speed, and the Detroit Lions are always going to do that, so that forces you to play at full speed too.
Indeed, I do. I'm with you. I think it's why this is such a good dress rehearsal opponent. But it's not just, it's like last year, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys all remember this, right? There was this, now we felt this way as fans. I mean, I was kind of raising my hand going, I'm a little bit nervous about this. I didn't see 4-12 in meaningful games, winning a 5th with Josh Johnson when the Eagles rested everybody. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but I didn't see a same repeat just because, right? But I think a lot of people did. And there wasn't much urgency. There was we'll be all right. Daniels is so good, we don't have to throw a pass in August. He's so good, nothing else matters. And again, I know he was hurt. I know a bunch of people were hurt, but a bunch of guys weren't. Frankie Louvu wasn't hurt, and he disappeared last year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that were here that are still being counted upon who did diddly or squat. Javon Kinlaw played 1 million snaps, didn't have a sack. I understand that's not his role, is to have 10. He didn't have one. Yet he had as many tackles for loss as like a backup linebacker, right? Where was Deron Payne last year? There's 1 million guys that were here that are being counted upon then or being counted upon now that had nothing to do with injury. It's just, where was my performance? So it felt like we're so good, it's just going to happen for us. And I think last year was that punch in the mouth where they had to do that thing where they got doubled over and they're bleeding and they touch their mouth and they go, and now what are you going to do about it? You got punched. What's the response? And again, it doesn't mean you go full Spurrier Osaka Japan on the Detroit Lions tomorrow, but I just want to feel like they get how unacceptable last year was instead of just going, just a fluke thing, man. Couple injuries and Jayden was hurt. Otherwise, we'll be fine. I want to feel that. I haven't yet. I'd love to see that tomorrow. I love that one. Des in Waldorf, what do you want to see tomorrow?
What's up, man? What I want to see is Brandon Coleman shut everybody up because everybody acting like we didn't go to the NFC Championship game with him playing as left tackle. We got Laramie Tunsil because he was available, not because Brandon Coleman was a problem. But my biggest thing is with y'all and all the Redskins media that's been going on. Because basically, why has everybody been complaining about cornerback, but they, at the same breath, remind themselves that the D-line was terrible last year. Our best player was Von Miller, and our best safety was Jeremy Reeves. If that's the situation, it don't matter. We got Devin Witherspoon. Your corner's going to be bad. They can't do it everything. Like, if you got the worst D-line and the worst safety group, what we going to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, be bad everywhere, Des, I think is the answer. But I don't know how that's my fault, but I appreciate the phone call. Thanks for listening.
The thing is, they're going to play different coverages, different styles of defense this year, but I still am interested. Can Mikey Sanders still play inside? Can he play outside? I like Amik Robertson, but he's undersized, right? He's been someone that has had good moments throughout his career, but if you look at the numbers for last year, it was not great. Rasul Douglas has stood out, but he was a free agent, someone that you just picked up off the street not that long ago. So I like a lot of what they're working with back there. Doesn't really matter for me if I like them. I need them to be able to cover. So there are questions. I don't know how you can look at that secondary and say there aren't. I like the Nick Cross addition. I think he's going to have a massive impact, but it looks like Jeremy Reeves could be your starting second safety. Do you feel great about that? Like, I like Revo. I love what he can do in special teams. I like him filling in stints. There's also a reason he hasn't been a starter throughout his career on the defensive side of the football, even though at short moments he might look fine. Does it look fine for all 65, 70 plays on defense? So there are questions all throughout the secondary. They can shut us all up by playing well, and in that case, we'll say, great, we'll tip the cap. But looking at it right now, objectively, you're like, I don't feel great about it.
Yeah, especially because Amos is constantly banged up, and he's, through a very short career, hasn't played a ton just yet. That's a legit concern.
Yeah.
But, I mean, his point in general, again, I'm not sure what part of that was our fault. I missed that. But if the point is, yes, I understand it's going to be tougher to cover, for sure. But at the same time, the plan was Marshawn Lattimore, Mikey Sanders still, not a great plan. So, yeah, those guys weren't good either. I think all of it can be true. But it's a good convo. Another milestone was set against DC Sports. That's next. Ben Standig joins us at 3. We have a lot of stuff.